think living without hope is one of the hardest things for anybody to experience. I work with women whose story isn't the happily ever after story that we all want for our lives. They have been through some painful things, some really bad stuff on the back end of their childhood. I am a woman who loves the Lord. My faith is very important to me. I had a penchant for working with persons who are going through or have a life challenge. So street ministry, children's home, you name it, I was a part of that. I also, unfortunately for me, I experienced sexual abuse as a child. I have a heart for those who are hurting and broken, who have been through things. And so I run a nonprofit that helps sex workers and trafficked victims find hope.
Welcome to another episode of The Last Zebra. I'm your host, Ugo Ezema. And as always, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Today's guest is genuinely one of my favorite people. Genuinely one of my just all-time favorite people, Stacy Ann Smith. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. As your favorite person, you do trouble me a lot, though. So I'm trying to wonder how come I'm the favorite person and you trouble me so much. But we'll work with it.
What they say, the people that you care about the most, you give the most trouble to.
Oh, who says that?
I said that.
Okay, just making sure.
It's been a long time. We've been trying to set this up.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but when you live in a different country, it's kind of hard still. But I'm here, and we're doing it.
Visiting from Jamaica.
Whoop, whoop.
Kingston.
Hey.
So, if you were to introduce yourself, how would you do so?
Good question. If I was to introduce myself, my name, Stacy Ann Smith, Simone for a few. I am a woman who loves the Lord. My faith is very important to me. I have a heart for those who are hurting and broken, who have been through things. And so I run a nonprofit that helps sex workers and trafficked victims find hope. I think living without hope is one of the hardest things for anybody to experience. And so I love pointing persons to hope. I'm also a therapist. So we met each other at our alma mater, Nichols State University.
Go Colonels.
Yes. So I got my psychology degrees there. And so I'm also a therapist, again, helping to build hope and restore hope. So, yeah, hope.
How did you get to, this is a question I get all the time, from Jamaica to Nichols.
A scammer. Wait.
A scam artist.
A proper scam artist, not a scammer. Sorry, let me fix that. So I had been trying to come to the States for school from what we in Jamaica call sixth form. So 12th and 13th grade. In Jamaica, we end school at grade 11 traditionally, but you can go on to 12 and 13 if you want to. So from 12 and 13, take your SATs, applying to schools all over the place, got partial scholarships, but if you know anything about Jamaica, our dollar doesn't match up to the US dollar presently. And so even with a scholarship or a half scholarship, we're looking at millions to pay the balance. And well, I wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? So as a last ditch effort, my third year trying, I'm now working after finishing 12th and 13th grade. My mom hired me at the company she had, the school she was a part of. And my aunt told me about some man that was helping young people get scholarships to go into college overseas. She told me something that should have been enough of a red flag for me to not go with this brother, but I didn't really want to come. So I said, okay, I'll try. He told her, and she told me that he could get me my application in front of like 400 schools or whatever. But it's now March, and if you apply to college, most schools deadline December, February. So the March, I was like, I feel like you don't have that much schools left yet, sir, but do you? Anyway, long story short, we start working with him. I'm paying him on a payment plan from my salary, and my mom is trying to write out a check for my deposit for room and board for Nichols, because he told us this school in Louisiana, I'm on a scholarship, all manner of niceties, but it's a partial, like most of it, scholarship. But I still had to pay for some of room and board. Thank God my mother had this thought, who should I write this manager's check out to? Let me call the school. She calls said school and speaks to the international advisor. That would have been her title, I think. Miss Marilyn Gonzalez.
Shout
Big of yourself, Miss Marilyn
Shout
Gonzalez.
out to Miss Marilyn.
Always the best.
Yeah.
And Miss Marilyn had no idea who on earth I was.
Wow.
My name was on no paper, nowhere. She had never seen an application. I didn't exist to this woman. But
Was he expecting your mom to write the check to him?
absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. I had been paying him otherwise, and this would have gone to him as well. She just decided, and again, my faith, I believe God divinely plucked her to be like, check, just check.
Yeah.
And that turned my trajectory of, here's this man getting all my money, to him get some.
Mm-hmm.
Him get some of it. But we stopped and began dealing with the school directly. And yeah, there I was, homecoming queen and everything.
Wow.
I had to do that for you. I had to do that for you.
Wow. Wow. What was that adjustment like coming from Jamaica? Jamaica is a very different place in terms of when you line it up with American culture at large.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Jamaican culture is can come to heads with that.
Yeah.
What was that adjustment like for you?
Don't laugh. I had to get used to how much I was expected to act African American because I was Caribbean African. Like, because I am the same color, I must act and think like you. And that was a challenge for me because it felt like it was erasing my culture and my identity in order to be a part of the greater pot, the greater, identity. So that was hard for me, navigating that with my friends, and sometimes honestly coming across as deaf to what they're going through because I didn't have context for it. In Jamaica, as you know, we're 80% black, so I have no context for any kind of the weight of racism. So I didn't walk into rooms thinking about me being different in any way, shape, and form. I always believed I belonged. No matter what room I was in, I never went into it with any kind of weight of what would have happened to me or concern of what could be in somebody else's mind or the thought you might not accept me. And because of that context, I think I was honestly sometimes maybe even insensitive to the plight. I wouldn't have said that then. Back then I was just like, what's the problem, guys? Just you belong. Haha.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah,
just walk in, and if something happened, and I don't think I experienced any form of racism when I was here, but if anything looked anything like it, my default was to think the person was rude as opposed to you're doing this because I am not the same skin color as you.
Right.
So that was an adjustment. But otherwise, I feel like, okay, the food, but to Louisiana's credit,
South Louisiana food is different.
the food here does taste good. And I'm not particularly picky. And then I had the blessing of building a great church community. So I got the opportunity to go to people's parents' home and eat somebody home cooked food. And I go, oh, big up on yourself.
This is good.
This not bad at all.
Yeah.
This, I can eat this. So, and I love crawfish boils. I have not had one in years, but...
You haven't had any since you've been here?
I did have some recently, but it wasn't the... I did.
But it wasn't what you were... It's not what you had in your fantasy? of what a
Must be.
crawfish
Maybe I
boil
had
is?
like, with the potato and the corn. It was just the crawfish itself. It wasn't the
Oh,
full on.
it wasn't the full
Yeah,
on.
so
Okay, I can see how that could be slightly
slightly disappointing.
underwhelming. Yeah.
Yes.
Jamaica's national motto is "Out of many, one people."
Mm-hmm.
I think about this often whenever I reflect on that plight.
Mm-hmm.
In that, I grew up between Nigeria and Jamaica, and I agree with you 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica is obviously majority black folk,
Mm-hmm.
but even the people that weren't black, your identity was first Jamaican.
Was first Jamaica.
Such that you can hear someone talk and you couldn't guess what race they were in Jamaica. You can't. You cannot.
You didn't think about it.
You didn't think about it.
I remember when we were on Jamaica's Tammy Chin
Oh, yeah.
was on The Voice.
Yeah.
And we were doing so well. And somebody, an African American friend of mine who didn't watch The Voice, I was telling him about, we're doing well, and we're succeeding. And he asked me what race she was, like what nationality or whatever she was. And I was
Yeah.
like, she's Jamaican.
She's Jamaican.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
And yes, Tammy Chin is of Chinese descent, obviously, or Asian. I don't know which one. I don't want to use the wrong one. Of Asian descent. But how Jamaicans, I find, identify themselves first and foremost is I'm Jamaican.
Right.
So I didn't have context for it. It's hard to watch even now how America is going through what they're going through. And surprisingly, watching it affect even us and even me individually.
How so?
I remember when your current president first became president.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm not American yet. So.
the current president.
yes.
But it was also around the time when there were many videos surfacing about racial attacks.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize it was affecting me until I came back to America and I watched myself not be bold to be in any space. I first noticed it in the airport. I needed to ask a question. I didn't hear something about the flight, something based on the flight. And I had a black couple beside me who were on their phone and distracted, and a white lady on the left of me who wasn't doing anything. And I felt myself pause and turn to ask them instead.
The black family.
Even though they were the ones that were busy, I felt myself pause. I went to a store, and a woman who was white was coming up the aisle where I was coming up, and I felt myself wanting to hesitate and get out of her way. And she ended up trying to get my attention, and she looked me in the eye. I'm like, why is she trying to look at me? She ended up saying, I want to tell you how beautiful you are.
Oh, man.
And I was like, Stace, what has happened to you? You've never been a person to second guess being in any space.
Right.
But now, watching what's happening and seeing persons being so affected and knowing I look like, because I am, I go, oh, maybe I should be more hesitant and more afraid and more unwilling to engage. I began to prejudge before a person said or did anything to me. And that was very concerning for me.
I wonder if that's a uniquely American experience or Western experience. So, because I imagine, well, I don't know, actually. I don't know what it's like in Europe, if that's... If that sense of prejudgment exists, there's always some tension between, especially black and white folk, especially between black and white folk here in the U.S. But I would go so far as to say that my general experience in life is that by far and away, most people are good people. Period.
Yes.
Period.
Period.
And then starting from there, the chances of you running into a good person is absolutely high. And I have absolute faith and trust in that. I will more likely lean into, and something I've come to accept, or one part of my growth is to remove moral judgment on how people feel about things that I disagree with.
What do you mean by that?
So, for instance, there are lots of people that have been, and you've heard me say this before, there are a lot of people that have been very, very good to me here in Louisiana. In Thibodeau, I remember walking from say, the campus to Walmart, and a random stranger would just give me a ride, pick me up and give me a ride. No right to do so, didn't even need to, but saw me carrying the bags and said, "Oh, he's struggling. It's about to rain. I should probably give him a ride." Gave me a ride back on campus.
Nice.
And that's just one example. If on campus, if you needed something, like, good people were around.
Yes.
Black, white, it doesn't matter. Good people were around that offered assistance, help.
Yep. A ride to the airport.
A ride to the airport, which was an hour away.
Yep.
Which is a great inconvenience if you think about it, especially for a student, you know. So my entire life has been really a testament that the vast majority of people that I know and the vast majority of people that I will continue to know are going to be good people.
Yep.
And so the challenge then is to not let whatever the minority of that to influence how you preconceive the rest of them.
Yeah.
And then by extension is to not hold any kind of moral indictment because someone makes a decision, and particularly pertinent to political decisions. I've decided to not hold moral indictment on anyone really for something that I don't, maybe we don't support the same policies or the same political leaders, et cetera, et cetera. But the vast majority of these people have also been very good to me.
Yeah.
And one of my standing principles is for good or bad, if someone has ever been good to me, I will, and you've heard me say this, I will hold reverence to that version of them that has always been, that I will respect and hold reverence to that version that was good to me. And I don't think that's something we should ever let go of. I think most people are good people. And there are things that I do that under a different set of lens would not be okay. And so being mindful of that is something that I've kind of grown. I think that's one positive from the last, say, 10 years of learning to see the good and to keep finding the good in people. And the vast majority of people are good people.
And giving people space to grow and learn.
Yeah. Grace as well.
Yeah, grace. You know, I can think of college Stacy and how she was on a rampage for her views, whether it was my views on faith or anything else. And seeing how I have matured to be able to see how things are nuanced, giving space for you did a bad thing, it doesn't mean you are a bad person.
Right.
Which I remember saying to my friends, we're allowing a particular friend's behavior because we love the person, or we can say we know how they truly are, but somebody else will see that behavior and discredit the person completely.
Right.
And again, I'm not trying to whitewash every single situation, but one of the things I find I hold dear is giving space for the nuance of people.
Yeah.
Giving space for the fact that if my sibling did a crime, I'm going to want them to get grace when they go to court, even if they are guilty. So when I hear or see wrongdoing, to hate the wrong, even be okay with a consequence for the wrong, but not then completely cancel a human being because of something they have done.
100%. 100%. And there's always room for growth. And I think the biggest thing for me is just being graceful and to take into consideration that your own lived experience got you to where you are, and everybody else's own lived experience got them to where they are. And you cannot discern that aside from just seeing what good is, what good is being manifested otherwise, and not to pin singular actions as the complete picture for any
as a
one
complete
person.
picture of a person. And even if it is a complete picture of the person, when you see a person trying to change, giving that space for the change.
That's
You
a good
know,
one.
I work with women whose story isn't the happily ever after story that we all want for our lives. They have been through some painful things, some really bad stuff on the back end of their childhood. And this is the place that they're in right now. And just even knowing that alone, because I can't say that I grew up being particularly empathetic to women of the night. I just saw them on the road and drove past. You know, look at what they're wearing. You know, that was the sum total of any thought, if any, about them. And then after going to Indonesia for 6 to 9 months to spend time with an organization there that did work on the streets with women who were in bars and brothels and a room they called the fishbowl. And a fishbowl just means one wall was glass and the rest of it was, you know, concrete walls. And there'll be rows and rows of women seated on benches. And the men on the outside could use a clicker and kind of point to who they want in the room. Because of the relationship the group I was with had with the community, we were able to go into the fishbowl and talk with the women and give them gifts and just share the love of God with them. But up until that experience, I would have lived my entire life not ever having a second thought to women who are on the street. It's in putting myself in a place where I can hear their stories that I go, these are mothers and grandmothers and women who have felt like they have no other choice, who have even tried to, but whether it is a system or lack of opportunity, they are not in the space that I am in to be able to go to work and go on a plane. Like one lady, it took her 8 years to get her birth certificate as an adult woman
From
the local authorities because of challenges she had with, you know, mommy and thinking this person was her father and finding out last minute he wasn't. And think about what you have access to when you have your birth certificate. You belong somewhere. You can do things like even vote. You can go and get your driver's license. You can't do anything until we can first verify you were born.
Right.
So you are nobody.
Without that paper.
And she was nobody for several years. Thinking she was, because this was the person who she was told was her father.
Right.
And so those basic things of getting people's story and knowing who they are. I think even what you're doing with your podcast, you're giving people's a place to share their stories. So they become more than just a person that you passed by, but, oh, this is Stacy. This is Ugo. This is whoever, you know. People's stories are so significant.
Let's dial back to your story. Let's go back to Jamaica.
Okay.
The very beginning. I grew up. I moved to Jamaica when I was 8. So, I would 8 to come into college, so 8 to 17. So 9 or so years, and of course going back and forth between holidays and such in college and medical school. My default personality is Jamaican at this point. Like it's my most natural place. And I think Jamaicanness can kind of can kind of seep into. If you live in Jamaica long enough, it doesn't take long for you to
we
become.
take over.
No matter where you're from, Jamaica will seep into you.
Yes.
Jamaica will
yes.
just like it's like this cool bath of just relax. You're all right. Everything is okay.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like growing up, born and raised? What was it like?
Oh, the playground is very a joke.
No, that's Philadelphia.
I know.
What was that like growing up in JA? You come from a family of?
Total 6. Mom, dad, I'm the eldest. And my brother's next, and the twins.
Shout out to
the twins.
and brother too.
Growing up in Jamaica, I don't feel like I have the ability to like give it a general for all Jamaicans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my parents had us in a gated community in a parish called St. Catherine. And so that meant, running up and down with your friends in the community. They had a basketball court down the bottom. I couldn't go because my parents were the strictest human beings on planet Earth. A joke. So I was...
But. I joke, but.
So I was mostly inside.
Mm-hmm.
My brother, Rebel Aros, so he was out there, but I was mostly inside. I am 5 years older than my brother and 6 years older than my sisters. And so maybe by the time they were born, a little bit of freeness happened, so they were outside more than me. And I guess I love friend and company, and I would try to go outside and be around people a lot, as much as I could. And I was very involved in my church.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a lot of ministry on the streets. I guess I had a penchant for working with persons who were going through or have a life challenge. So street ministry, children's home, you name it, I was a part of that. I did dance. I went to camp. So I did love being around people, and I was very people and friend oriented. But I think I also would be inside because I said it before, but unfortunately for me, I experienced sexual abuse as a child. And so there was a part of me that was always hidden, always kind of kept back from others, and that nobody knew about, not my parents, not nobody. And so I think growing up for me, when people ask me that question, when I think about what trauma is, I know my brain has like blocked off childhood. So like it takes me a while to be like, what was childhood? Because I spent so much time trying to erase childhood. But childhood is fun. Childhood is beach. I live near the beach. Helsha Beach. Fish and Festival.
That's it.
I mean, I know you guys here in the South have your fried catfish, but you haven't had escovitch fish. And that...
Scotch bonnet.
With the Scotch bonnet pepper and the... I just tasted it a while ago.
I haven't had it in a while, but yes.
So I feel like I had a split life all the way up. And even talking about it now, I feel it's like this freedom because, I've shared with my family, and so they know. But having to constantly keep a part of me hidden back from others, it's hard to say what was growing up in Jamaica like. But it's from what I can go back to, even for high school, it is camaraderie, it is fun, it is enjoying life. Like, life is super colorful. Music, food, everything is done to the hilt. Like, you feel everything and you are fully in that moment. Like, life could be the economy could be crashing, the politicians are acting crazy, but you will still have fun.
Yeah. we don't have a lack of fun.
We don't.
That's one of the things I love about New Orleans is New Orleans reminds me of a lot of home. Mm-hmm. Fun is accessible to everybody.
It is.
A good time.
And we will make a joke about everything that is serious. We make dances off of diseases. So when chikungunya came to Jamaica, it became a dance. Like, we are the epitome of laugh. Yeah. Laugh even though you want to cry.
Were you even growing up, were you aware of it consciously that you were, because there are people that go through trauma. Mm-hmm. such that they separate themselves completely, even from memory. Were you aware that you had this double kind of existence of?
I was a child. I had no words for it. You know. I remember when I first learned what the word grooming was. I was here at college. I was a grown up in school, in a psychology class, hearing them define grooming and go, "Oh,
That's what happened to me."
that's what happened to me." Not to date myself, but 90s, 80s, I don't think, at least in Jamaica, I can't say what's happening here, that childhood abuse, sexual abuse was like a forefront conversation. There wasn't this awareness of the issue to the point where there were so many resources and so many persons talking about it. So the most I would know is stranger danger, you know? But, and I think because it wasn't so talked about and such an issue that people were addressing head on, I don't even think when it came to light, the people who were aware of it handled it appropriately.
What do you mean by that?
So when it came out to some of my community leaders, and I'm talking about church, let me say this clearly. So in Christianity, grace, forgiveness, are pretty paramount. You know, Christ died for sinners. He forgives us of our sins when we repent. And so I'm going to say ignorance. I don't think it was a matter of ill intent. I think they didn't know how to handle justice and mercy at the same time. So mercy would imply that we forgive, we, of course, deal with the leader, we spend too much time asking me what happened. So my poor little childhood self having to divulge these to people who are not trained in how to
even ask the questions.
Yeah. And then internally, because I am a Christian, I'm supposed to forgive, and I am conflicted with this is wrong, but I'm supposed to forgive. And so there is no space for processing the weight and pain of what happened to me, the wrongness, and that's not a word, of what happened to me, because forgiveness came first. And I'm not downplaying the importance of forgiveness, because the forgiveness helped to free me, but because I didn't have the time to deal with or look at it like, this is what happened to you, this is how you felt about it, this is how it can affect you. And so one of the symptoms of childhood sexual trauma is over-sexualization. And so my focus on being, in relationships and, going too far physically with guys, even though my faith would say, purity and holiness, and I am not absolving myself of personal responsibility. But what I'm saying is I didn't get the chance to understand that part of the symptomology of sexual abuse is hypersexualization, even as a young child. And having to almost squash, small up, put away that part of me and be bright, shiny, happy, very involved, effervescent Stacy. I didn't deal with her. And I think that's part of why I'm so big on hearing people's stories, because there is this part, which is real. I wasn't faking it. I am fun, vivacious, outgoing, but I also had this thing, and I never had the space to tell that part of my story.
I love how you separated justice from mercy. And I think hearing you talk about that, in trying to process that, the way I'm thinking about it, mercy has to be something personal. Justice has to be the way you feel that society has dealt with what happened. So I don't even think justice is yours to deal. Justice has to come from somewhere else. I would make that case.
Okay.
And I would make the case that because mercy is tied to forgiveness, like you said, it has to come from you.
That's interesting.
Does that fall in line with? And I say that to say because the way you described it felt like you almost were forced mercy and still got no justice.
But I did, though.
Okay.
I believe that we all have consequences for our our actions, and I don't believe that God turned a blind eye to what I experienced. And I do believe that there is going to be a consequence for what was done to me. And because of that, because God is so just, because he is so just, I can't help but not want mercy for the person, because the Bible says things like, vengeance is mine, I will repay. And even the fact that my sins, the Bible says, my sins, the penalty for sin is death. And God didn't just say, okay, I will not cause death. He killed his son. Like, he doesn't not do the just thing. He's fully just. And in his just, he's also mercy. He's fully merciful. And I know it's hard for people to grasp, and it might sound like, okay, I'm putting something pretty on the pain. But in trusting that God is just, I can now extend mercy. In trusting and believing that I deserve a penalty for my sins, and because Jesus paid that penalty, I now have God's mercy and God's forgiveness. I'm giving it back to you. Not because of anything you have done to apologize. As in, the person didn't apologize until I was like in my 20s. But my forgiveness was complete and
Even
given to
before
them
then.
even before that. Backtrack. Let me change it for complete. It's active. It's active. It's remembering and going, Lord, help me. That was hurtful. Help me to forgive. It's crying as an adult. It's a TV show might come on, a scene of a person being assaulted, and I have to be like, can we change the channel? But though I had no intention and didn't even see this beforehand, I am able to listen to a woman on the street story with an empathy that isn't manufactured because of my training. I can look at you and go, I get it. Not because I know your pain, but I can understand how that can affect you and affect how you think and affect how you value yourself and affect how you allow men to treat you. Okay, so I can listen to you wholly present.
Right.
Not just because I'm a therapist and I have the training and I know how to actively listen. I get it.
What was the first thing you dreamt of as a kid, like that you wanted to be?
A lawyer.
Really? Well, you do
Don't
talk,
it.
You talk a good bit.
Gwena means go away, leave me alone. I wanted to be a lawyer. I don't even know why. It's because persons say I talk enough, and I feel like lawyers everywhere want to just shut that. That's not what you do. You read a lot. I did want to be a lawyer, but I remember I mentioned the thing about Jamaica with 12th and 13th grade. The school I was applying to go to for 12th and 13th grade wouldn't accept one of my subjects that I had gotten an A in, and I was not going to do it over because you don't want to do it. And that was the only school that I was applying to that allowed for you to do that particular
Really?
course. No, I can call school name.
Yeah, man.
All right,
Them
St.
not-
Andrew High School.
St. Andrew. You guys missed a good one.
They didn't want to take my A in CXC from grade 10. I did CXC language and literature in grade 10.
CXC is the Caribbean Examination Council.
Yes.
It's the equivalent of
I have no
SATs.
idea.
It's a standardized exam
Okay.
across multiple entities.
Subjects.
Yeah, and across multiple subjects. And they didn't take yours
because you had to take it in grade 11.
But you took it a grade earlier, and that
grade earlier and got a
more
1.
impressive.
And that was, no, you have to do it again.
A 1 is an A.
Yes.
It's distinction.
Kind of smart. Kind of smart.
Big up yourself.
So, and that school did, in 12th and 13th grade, they had a course that was like a law course for what was called O levels. I don't know how to explain that because it's a British-based exam.
Yeah.
So, dramatic me was like, life is over. What am I going to do now? I don't know why. I would just continue and go to law school anyway. I don't know if I knew that was an option. So I did a test with my school guidance counselor, and on it, I was supposed to do counseling. And I was like, what? Like in my brain, the person who counseled was the person at your camp.
Right.
As a camp counselor. What am I going to do with my life?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even remember what convinced me. And so I said I was going to be a marriage and family therapist because I watched how my parents helped other people's marriages. So I'm going to get trained in that and help other persons have wonderful marriages. I work with children and abused women. That was obviously not
That's very separate.
very separate.
Different field. So how did that come to psychology then? Is that a, now I don't know this. I genuinely don't know this. Is psychology usually a preamble to therapy?
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah, psychology is study of human behavior. So it's you do psychology to go and do, a counseling, like a licensed counselor, mental health worker. Honestly, doing psychiatry, then you go to medicine.
Right.
That's different.
Yes. Do you have to have a psychology background to be a counselor?
You have to have some kind of training in it, even if you didn't do it for your bachelor. I have friends who didn't do it for bachelor's, but they're doing it for master's or a different angle to do it. But at some point, there has to be some kind of psychology, social work background.
Right. And when you were in school, obviously at Nichols, for your bachelor's, was the training, the education, was that in line with what you thought it would be?
Yeah, man. Absolutely. It was. And so much more. Like one of my professors, I can't say so, I don't even know. Like, I think she worked with the FBI. That was so cool. You can take it out if it's not allowed. But it was cool. And my master's, I learned a lot. I had great professors. I remember, backtracking to my personal story, I remember in my master's, we did what's called dyad. So the professor would have us come to the front and sit like this and have somebody practice using therapeutic tools to interview or engage with their client. And I don't know what and why, but I ended up offering that, my story, in the classroom in front of everybody, and having to go to my apartment afterwards, and just going in the pool and looking up at the sky and just letting the water wash over me in the pool and not think about anything. But all I have to say, like, we got good experiences with it, and that actually helped me to be the person who I am now, in terms of I can hear hard stories and not internalize. Like, I can listen, be present, do what I'm doing, and then, leave it there with you in
Such that
moment.
it doesn't jade you. You don't get jaded from the experience.
Yes.
Despite, obviously, your own experience. Now, prior to that trip to Indonesia, you were still primarily being a counselor, is that correct?
Absolutely. I had spent a year in Chicago working with boys who were wards of the state. And I love past tense, present, love Chicago. That was a great experience.
Chicago is my second favorite city.
It's your second? What's your first?
Summertime Chicago is my second favorite
city.
city.
Absolutely. Summertime.
New Orleans.
Really?
By far.
By far?
So between New Orleans and Chicago?
All Jamaicans who watch this podcast, you hear what I'm saying?
Yo,
You hear what I'm saying?
Listen.
Him put New Orleans over Kingston town.
Hold on. We're
What?
talking about in the U.S. In the U.S.
You
Come on, man.
just to clarify.
Look what she's trying to do. She's trying to set me up. No, in the United States.
In the U.S. of A.
In these here United States. New Orleans is by far my favorite city. And Chicago is a close second, but the closeness is not that close. Really, the distance between Chicago and the rest is a what's the chasm.
Chasm.
Yeah.
I haven't been to enough of them to say so.
There isn't any. I'd be hard to.
And I know I'm in New Orleans, but Chicago, to my thing.
Summertime Chicago is borderline perfect. I agree. Wow. It is the quintessential. I would make the case. It is the quintessential American city. It is somehow. It's like the way I describe it is someone went to New York and said we can do this better.
It's so true.
We can do this better.
Careful with your podcast.
I'm serious. Go to New York.
It is true though.
Go to Chicago.
It is true.
It's like someone
I've heard person say it. No, you're not the first person to say it.
Someone went to New York and was like, yeah, all right, this is nice, but this can 100% be better. Mm-hmm. The streets can be a little wider. Mm-hmm. We can see the sky, right? We have the lake. Mm-hmm. Like in the summertime, it is oh my goodness, it's flawless.
It is.
Flawless.
It is. Between the beauty of it and the activities, I think for me it is the range of activities. So like New Orleans, amazing, but it is Cajun. That is your primary culture that you're going to engage with.
Yeah.
That is not Chicago.
I understand. Trust me, you can't convince me otherwise about Chicago. Like I understand. If I spent more time up there, I suspect I would have just ended up living. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I was there for 2 years when I was in my clinical training. Mm-hmm. No, a year.
And he never visited me.
You weren't there.
I was there. We would talk on the phone instead of clinicals.
Oh,
that's all right.
I don't remember that at all.
It's me to get the feelings hurt. That's why. But it's all good.
I don't remember that at all. That's not. But yeah, I love Chicago. Chicago is a lovely, lovely city. I think I would live there, but only in the summer. And part of it too is like that first year I was there. Mm-hmm. They had one of the coldest winters that they had in a very, very long time. Okay. And it's the problem with the cold up there is that it doesn't make sense. And there's no amount of protection that can save you from it. And worse so is that people pretend as if that's normal. So I remember my first like snowstorm. Mm-hmm. Snowstorm. I mean, I watch TV, so I've seen snowstorms on TV. But experiencing it, you open the door and the snow is up to your thighs. And people are just like, oh yeah, let's like shovel the snow and go to work. I'm like, guys, no.
Staying home.
Stay home. What are we doing here? And they're just like, oh no, this is fine.
And you were an essential worker, so you can't say you staying home.
I was a medical student, so.
Oh.
But we still had to go.
Okay.
So we end up going anyway. But the summertime Chicago balances out. Overcompensates for that. It is a beautiful city. Mm-hmm. Beautiful city. So yeah, counselor, Chicago, got to Indonesia. Mm-hmm.
So I went home because, we're going to be legal and my OPT was finished. I stay legal. And so I went home.
OPT is a condition of your visa that you can work in your
student visa.
Student visa that you can work in your chosen field of study for a year. A year after you've completed your training.
Right. Yeah. So unless somebody married me or hired me, like file, like, do the legal filing for you with the government, you got to go home.
H-1B, yeah.
Yeah, neither happened. So I went home. So I'm home and I am pining for Chicago. I am looking at jobs. I'm watching the movies. Like, it was hard. And culturally, talk about the shift. So going back home, the lack of convenience. I love my island, but whoa. The lack of convenience, the lack of certain infrastructure as it comes to, transportation. If you don't have a car, I was fiending for Chicago.
Lack of urgency. Lack of urgency.
The lack of urgent, yes. Come to Jamaica and feel all right all the time. The bank lines long, it was just,
It was different.
It was different, and so I was trying to come back, and I had begun writing for an Australian-based online magazine, Christian magazine, and part of wanting to be a better writer, I had read it was important to read other things. And so I was waiting for a ride that evening, and I was going to a games night. A guy who I liked was picking me up. I'll tell you why I say that in a second. So I'm waiting for him to come for me, and I decided to read an article about sex tourism in Asia, and I'm so intrigued by what I'm reading and the effects of, how it's affecting women. There were tourists coming there, and because of, I think, the lack of accountability, it was easy access for this kind of issue for them to get women and underage children. And me, I'm just like, oh no, the people, oh no. And so I began reading up more on the issue, and by the time before my ride came for me, I had sent an email to a group in Asia asking about what's happening. And he picks me up. We go to this games night, and he is flirting with another girl.
Oh. Okay.
And I say that because I had this strong urging, this wasn't it,
Yeah.
But a little bit of defiance to the Lord. And it was like, but God, you sure? I mean, come on. Anyways, God happily and politely closed the door on that guy. And I'm not sure if you've ever seen those memes about, break up with a woman, she gets a degree. Like you break up with a girl, like she go away. So he was never my boyfriend, but it felt like a breakup. I was like, bet, I'm going to go do something big for Jesus. I jumped on a plane and I went to Indonesia. That's it's the fuller story of Indonesia. Persons go, oh my gosh, so spiritual. I did pray and I did feel like God was telling me to go. But behind that was like, all right.
I'll show you. And was it a year you were there?
9 months. So I told my friends I was going for 3 months as a volunteer. And then while there, I was asked to stay longer by the organization. And I ended up they have a training, and that training is 6 months. And so you spend 3 months doing coursework, and then 3 months out in the field. And during that time, I did Cambodia, I did Vietnam, some rural parts of Indonesia, or the particular island I was on. And yes, total 9 months. 9 months over there.
Do you, in hindsight, in reflection, do you find or feel like up to that point, well, the question is really, what was it about that experience that moved you so that you were saying, granted, you had some empathy for them, but that doesn't always lead to a
life
transformative life. It was complete, essentially. Would you say, I would go so far as to say as a friend that this is become you. You know what I'm saying? It really racked you up.
It did.
What was it about that experience that really, really did it talk to that little girl? Was that experience, what was it about it that got you so enthralled?
So when I went, after being there, I know I was impacted by the issue. I watched a documentary by this nonprofit called Exodus Road, and where they went in a more in-depth way to the behind the scenes of what human trafficking is. And when I came home, I thought, okay, I still don't have a job. But this thing is important, so I'll get a job doing that. And I was still very come to America in my mindset. So I began researching groups that was doing work in this area that would hire me to do something. I still wasn't trying to have my own thing. I used to joke and say, I don't mind being the vice president. You can keep the presidency. You know, I'd be the anything.
something.
Anything. Like, I am not the woman bothered by the man being the head. Great. You got this. I'm going to just come in and support. So I was trying to find somebody that was doing it. I could get paid doing it. Because again, this is now me 33. And this nomadic life of travel and all over the place, I didn't have any roots anywhere.
Right.
I was just kind of like going with whatever the flow was. And I am a go with the flow kind of person, but that doesn't work well for like stability.
Right.
So I'm ready to settle down. A group of friends and I prayed because I was challenged by a couple of friends. Like, why are you trying to go away to do something? What about your own country? I had never heard about trafficking in Jamaica. Like, that was not something I thought existed here.
Right.
It was a faraway problem. So I prayed with a group of friends and just started. I'm a just start kind of person. Even without the full information, much to my friends and family's distress, I just started and it just clicked. Everything else I could do, and I did it, but I was always still feeling like I want more. There's something else that I could do. There is that thing. It wasn't clear. It wasn't like, I feel like I know. It just wasn't there until it was.
So this was a unique endeavor in that there was clarity.
The clarity came in doing it.
Yeah.
The clarity came in doing it. And I'm glad that God used my do it kind of personality to get me there. Because I get my background should make me go, I pursued this because of what happened. I didn't. It isn't, I'm a therapist, so I know it was, this was interesting to me. My faith said to me, go help. A situation helped to catapult me out of the country. The impact of it made me want to go, all right, let me go find employment. That didn't work. A challenge turned me again. And I go, let me just try this here. And then I go, this feels like it. I found it. And I hear people want to do this, know what the it is, and then do it. And there's credence to that. But man, sometimes you just have to do it. And in doing, you figure out, this is it.
I think it was Mark Cuban. He has a quote that I really, really love about essentially the whole point of life is to stay in a state of action. And he would make the case, and I'm pretty sure it's Mark Cuban, that you shouldn't chase passion. You should chase doing things, and in doing so, you'll find your passion. You know,
happened to me,
and it's something that I that resonates with me. I think I also like to just do something, and keep it going. What is it? What's the name? And tell us about.
Oh, my organization.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean? What's what?
Yeah. Tell us about your organization.
Okay.
Big up yourself.
Big up the Lord Jesus Christ. So it's called Pursued International Foundation. And the motto is we go where they are. So we're pursuing them. And we're going to where they are. So we walk the streets at night every 2 weeks to engage with the women and see what their needs are and try our best to find support as much as we can wherever it's available, if it's available, to help them, whether we point them to the resource or we provide the resource. Our three main focuses are awareness, outreach, and reintegration. So awareness, we're in various spaces, both online and, in face-to-face talking about the issue of trafficking and how it affects us locally, so that more persons cannot be like me, where you're like, this don't happen here, it's far away. And seeing how it does impact us, how it has impacted us, and how persons can get the support needed if they've been victims or if they're aware how to report it. So like we have an online training now that anybody can do anywhere in the world. You just go to pursuedinternational.com. There's a training link and you can learn what is human trafficking, or what is child trafficking is our specific focus for this training. What are the signs, how to report it. Then we do outreach, like I mentioned. We have a team that hits a particular trafficking hotspot in Jamaica, and we just engage with the women. And then the reintegration program is we've done business support, startup. We have done counseling for women. We have done grocery care supplies. We've done Christmas initiatives for them. During COVID, we did care supplies for the women because, you know, it's a contact job. Can't contact. So, you know, we did that during COVID. So, yeah, lots of partnerships with various groups, government-wise or NGOs. Yeah, and so we're in our 6th year doing this. Oh my gosh. And it's been a journey. Not to use a cliche word, because I remember the first night on the road, if we have time, we're giving out these. Now, I put on a brave face because I'm the leader, but inside, I'm carrying a bunch of young women onto the street, and I've heard countless people give me all manner of warnings. I should bring men, I should hire security, I should all these things, and I didn't heed any of those things. I'm like, we're gonna pray and we're gonna go. We got training. Like, I found a woman who used to be a sex worker who was trafficked to come and talk to us about street etiquette, if you want to call it that. There is an NGO called Street Pastors based in the UK. We had their local team come and talk to us about how to speak to people. So I'm not saying we go out there like, you know, no, we did due diligence in that regard.
Right.
And then we just walked the streets with the women scantily clad and the men on the road. And we had 2 interactions that were memorable. The first one, a gentleman comes out of I don't know where with 2 men beside him in the typical like gangster scary look. They had the dreads in front of them face and kind of looking at you like that, the 2 men on the side. And he was like, well, you know, button up looking, you know. So
he was clearly the boss. Or
I didn't say it, he did. And he comes out and, you know, questions, you know, who we are, what we're doing, but very polite. Don't get me twisted. And I'm sure I sounded brave, but on the inside, oh. So we gave out bottles of water, and we had just our logo and like an encouraging word on the side. And so I just said, we are women giving out love to these women, just sharing love of Jesus, just talking with them. And I gave him a bottle. And you look at the bottle. So you pray on the water, you pray over the water. What do you do with the water? Anything in the water? I'm like, no, sir, it's unopened. Like, it's just water. It's literally just water. And I guess he paused enough. Whatever I said was sufficient. And he turned back into whatever place he came from and disappeared. We have had no issues on the road since. After we leave him, we're walking back to our base, and a police jeep, complete with about 4 or 5 police with some big AK rifle, stop us. So we pause, and it's about maybe 6 to 8 women in a white shirt with like a writing across the front and jeans, like just simple, like we don't look scary.
Right.
They come out and they come towards us, some guns pointing to us, some in the air. What you guys doing? We are no longer anywhere near the woman. We're on a regular street with like apartments and like businesses. So there's nothing, you know, crazy.
Right.
So I'm trying to understand what is wrong. What's up with this force?
Right.
One person could have come and be like, yo, no good? Yeah. All right? Everything okay? And no, they came out. So at that, I think I was more afraid of them not the people down the road. So a friend of mine who was also a leader of street pastors, she said she took the lead because my mouth went, I just lost words because I'm seeing guns. And she explained, and then I found my bearings and explained that we had notified the general police what we were doing, and I guess it was sufficient and they left. That's the scariest thing that has happened. After that, it's been just, we walk on the road and we build relationship, and I've gone into the brothel and sit down and talk to them in the rooms, and
What's the most challenging thing? I know you're able to separate yourself from those experiences. It's something that I think most clinicians or providers can probably relate to. You're a provider, essentially, is what you are. Such that if you're not careful, you can lose a piece of yourself to this endeavor, right? With each one, right? Because it requires you, if you want to do it and do it right, it requires you to commit something almost that, if you're not careful, can be lost once you separate. And I think that's what leads from a provider perspective, certainly from a physician perspective. I think that's what leads to things like burnout, being jaded, moral injury, something we talk about all the time, where how you feel and how you're trying to execute, or your rules that you're trying to follow aren't being, I don't want to say justified, but aren't being assisted, if you want, by the world at large. So you see patients and you go through these kind of hyper emotional experiences. One day, one patient, two patients, three patients, and over time that can leave something, leave a mark on you, and you may not want to go down that path again. For you, I mean, like you said, you'd mentioned that you're at this point now, you're able to kind of separate that. With that being, I don't want to say it's a non-factor, but it's not something that you're heavily focused on. What are some of the more particular and difficult challenges that you experience? It can be personally, and of course,
they're there,
and of course in a professional capacity as well, because you're running this organization.
It's a couple. I'll start with the least difficult.
Least difficult.
They're all difficult, but it's like they all suck, but here's the least sucky. When you are the one in charge and it's your organization, you have to be doing the other parts of it, the administrative, the applying for the grant, the engaging with the officials, and
pulls you away from the work.
It pulls you away from being the boots on the ground. And more, I'm realizing I can't be boots on the ground. And that's what I like. Like, I don't really care about the paperwork. Matter of fact, I suck at the paperwork. I want to be on the roadside, sit down in my jeans while the cockroach passed me on the road and the woman is blowing weed in my face and talking to her about her struggles as she cries. That's what I want to do. I don't want to be in here with you talking about what's my mission and my goal and my objective and my vision and my quarterly and my... Man, but I have to.
It has to be done.
It has to be done. And so I feel I miss the women. I miss the road. The next thing is... we're not going to cry. What we're not going to do is cry today. Because there is no Kleenex. Where's the Kleenex? Matt, where's the Kleenex? When my mom passed.
Shout out to Miss Vanjie. A beautiful woman.
Yes.
A wonderful soul.
When she passed, I was done. Um, so my mommy left making her coins to go and serve. And when she passed away, I had resentment to the field of service because I didn't feel like it served her back. Oh, come on, Stacy Ann. I was upset. I was upset. And I was like, here I am doing the very same thing. And I'm looking right now at monetary give back. Like, we weren't rolling. I'm not rolling in nonprofit. And so for me, it was, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to just, I'm done. And then one evening, I got a text from one of the first women we helped to come off the street, leave her abusive pimp boyfriend, start several different businesses. She sent me a text that said, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. That's not playing fair, God, by the way. And I looked at the text and I was like,
And this is when you needed something like this.
I had never been messaged by any woman about how we've been helping them. Never. And it's probably year 4. And then I spent some time overseas. I needed it. I needed to get away. And did all the crying. And then began to look at the people that were sharing with me how my mom touched their lives. And I realized that the gain is not monetary all the time. Sometimes the gain is in the lives touched. I'm doing pretty good. I'm not crying. I'm good. And so, yeah, the sacrifice began to not feel like it was worth it. And then I remembered why the sacrifice. And the sacrifice is the people. And the third one, more recent, misunderstanding, hurt, and pain between myself and some of the women that we work with has resulted in a significant rift that affects us being able to do our street ministry in a particular neighborhood. And that one now made me upset. It felt unfair that I was sacrificing so much for you to, what it feels like is to stay in the misunderstanding, stay in the view that a wrong has been done, or even if it has been done, to not move past it. To the point where you spit in my face, not literally, from the support that we provide for you. Like, you tell people it's not worth it, it's not good, and then you spread lies. That part is hard because I understand how trauma works, fight and flight and fear and freeze. So I know what you're experiencing is me triggering all the persons who have disappointed you before. And so you have to protect yourself. But you know, when you've been somebody's friend for so long, you kind of want to look at them and go, we have 6 years. This thing can't mess up 6 years of friendship, brother.
Right.
And it has. And for the first, I have a fear to go back on the road. Not a fear for my life, but a fear of not being accepted. and welcomed. And that's more frightening to me than a gun.
That's interesting because you're you want to get into these women's lives in a very different way from most people that pursue them. And your fear is that they won't let you in, which is a unique paradox of the entire thing.
I guess so.
Ain't that something?
That is something.
Did your mom get to see you like this?
Yes. Yes.
What did she think of it?
My poor mommy. What on earth is her daughter doing? She is not going to bed until I'm home. Okay, those nights. From I chose the course of study. She was like, pick a different course.
Please,
like,
Stacey.
please, Stacyann, do something else. I remember when I was being pursued about probably working with the government to do something, and she was like, please, for your sake, just pick something else. But she began to come around and support and encourage and even try to find support for me to do what I was doing. So big up, mommy.
I would be remiss if we didn't talk about, I would say, probably the most important cornerstone of your life, which is your faith. Having been through everything you've been through, the cliche question is, what does your faith mean to you? But what I mean by that is, how are you able to navigate, obviously through faith, but round out your experience with such confidence, and to step into a literal unknown on a day-to-day basis? How are you able to do that? And how? And the second part of the question is, I met you almost 20 years ago. How different is it today than it was 20 years ago?
You're going to have to react the second question after I answer the first question, because my brain went into full mode to answer the first one.
She brought her Bible.
I sure did. Big up Jackie Hill Perry, who gave out Bibles at her conference. Jackie Hill Perry and Megan. So my favorite, I don't say favorite, it's not like that. It's like a verse that has been an anchor for me. It's Ephesians 3:16-19. I pray, this is Paul, the apostle, talking to a church in Ephesus in one of his letters to them. And he says, I pray that he, being God, may grant you, according to the riches of his glory, to be strengthened with power in your inner being through his Spirit, and that Christ may dwell in your hearts through faith. I pray that you, being rooted and firmly established in love, may be able to comprehend with all the saints what is the length and width, height and depth of God's love, and to know Christ's love that surpasses knowledge, so that you may be filled with the fullness of God. One of the big things everybody wants is to feel loved. And in feeling loved, a security happens. You think of how secure you feel in your love from your wife, how secure you feel in your love from your kids, how secure you feel in your love from your mom. I'm secure because the maker of the entire universe loves me. And somebody who has made the universe can fix, affect, control, move anything on my behalf. And he loves me. That is the crux of my life. I am loved. It's how I can love others. It's how I can forgive others, because I have this surplus. Because if you think of God of the universe, universe, that's a lot of love. That's a lot of bigness. And you have given it to me. I can give it back, even if persons can't give it to me in the way I'd want. or if persons don't give it to me at all. It's how I can be nuanced. It's how I can see past your flaws. It's how I can be hurt, upset, and then come back and forgive, even if you don't apologize. Because I'm already loved. I'm already chosen. I'm already seen as enough because he has made me enough. And that's what guides everything I do.
How has that changed in the last 20 years? How have you evolved as a
I'm
Christian
not requiring
woman?
other persons to love me.
I love that you said that. I really do. I
Yeah.
genuinely love that you said that.
Okay.
Because do you know the writer Chimamanda Ngozi? She's an Igbo writer. She's amazing. She's a
I gotta check her out.
fantastic. Yeah.
Check her out.
She has a quote.
Just have quotes in the head like that?
I know. I love these things. She has a quote, and it's of her with Trevor Noah. She was in a podcast.
Okay.
And Trevor had asked her, "How do you navigate like people being hateful or whatever?" Because she's a public person, and she said, "I am the daughter of," and she names her father, and the daughter of, and she names her son, her mother. She said, "I grew up in a house full of love. I don't need anybody else's love. I am." Exactly what you just said. Exactly what you should listen to her episode, and when that happens, you'll think about exactly how you describe that. You're an inspiration.
Thanks.
Stacy Ann Smith. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.